In a minor key, there are two possible pitches for scale degree 6 and scale degree 7. There are twice as many possible seventh chords in a minor key than in a major key, though some are far more common than others. If we look at the more common chords first, we will use the notes of the minor mode, except when we build a dominant harmony, the 5 chord or the 7 chord, in which case we must have a leading tone. The 5 chord is a dominant 7th chord, a major triad with a minor 7th. The leading tone chord is now fully diminished, not half diminished, because the triad is diminished and the 7th is a diminished 7th above the root. These two chords still function as dominant. The supertonic 7th chord is now a half diminished 7th chord. The mediant and submediant 7th chords are both major 7th chords. And the subdominant chord is a minor 7th chord. These are the common 7th chords in a minor key. If we make the tonic chord a 7th chord, it is also a minor 7th chord. If we change te to t for the other possible chords, the tonic chord becomes a minor major 7th chord, which is too dissonant to ever function as tonic in classical music, but makes a very cool jazz chord. The mediant chord becomes an augmented major 7th chord. If the 6th scale degree is raised, the affected chords are the 2, 4, and 6 chords. The 2 chord becomes a minor 7th chord. The 4 chord becomes a dominant 7th chord and will sound like the dominant chord in the key of the subtonic. Dominant 7th chords always sound like dominant 7th chords, and they sound like they are built on sol. The 7th chord built on the raised 6th scale degree is a half diminished 7th chord. If we don't put the leading tone into the 5 chord, it is a minor 7th chord and cannot function as dominant. If we build a 7th chord on the subtonic and the 7th of the chord is lay, it will sound like a dominant 7th. It will sound like the 5 chord in the key of the mediant. We will not use the raised 6th scale degree as the chordal 7th, since La would be used to lead directly to T in a minor key, and chordal 7ths resolve down by step. We avoid creating contrary tendencies. We have explored all of the possible diatonic 7th chords, but just because a chord is possible does not necessarily mean that it is useful. In practice, the most common 7th chord is the dominant 7th chord. Leading tone 7th chords and supertonic 7th chords are fairly common. 4/7 and 6/7 chords occur with some regularity as well. Except for the very common leading tone alteration to the 5 chord and the 7 chord in minor, other alterations are much less common. You should know the qualities of the 7th chord for each diatonic function in the minor and major keys.